Hi YouTube. Today we're going to take a look at the Dewalt table saw that I've got, and we're going to look at just a couple little odds and ends that I've done that help maintain it, make it work a little easier, and also have an auxiliary fence. I did a quick video about the auxiliary fence a while ago, and we're just going to follow up on that auxiliary fence and some of the ways that it works and that I can use it. So first things first, let's see, I'll pull that off, and I wanted to show you that I've added a zero clearance tape, and kind of bring you around here so you can see better, hopefully. So you drop your blade, it's just a thin sheet of plastic with an adhesive on the back, and you apply it to the insert. And I cut around here, and I also feathered this edge. I just sanded it down a little bit to help prevent catching. And then you have to pull your riving knife and drop your plate in. Oops, wrong way. My bad. Drop your plate in, and then you start your saw and just raise your blade through it. And I had to finish off this cut back here for the riving knife with a blade. I just used a utility knife and just cut for the riving knife. And it actually works really well. I've lowered the front of the plate so my material doesn't catch this edge. And it does make a huge difference when you're ripping material. I used to have a lot of tear out on the underside, and this has almost eliminated the tear out. It's well worth it. And again, the main thing is sanding this edge just a little bit and dropping the plate a little bit so your material doesn't catch. And the other thing I want to talk to you about regarding using your saw, looking after your saw, is that it's a good idea to wax your surface. And I just use regular turtle wax, and it works fine, and it makes your material slide so much better. It makes your if you're using a crosscut sled or any kind of sleds, it makes your sleds work just 100 times easier and smoother. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I don't know if you can see these scratches or not, but the sleds I made were scratching up the surface of the saw, and there was no wood on, or I'm sorry, there was no nails coming through, there was no screws coming through, there was no glue, there was nothing, but yet just the wood itself, excuse me, was scratching the surface of the saw. Once I started putting wax on it, then all that stopped. Now it works just fine. I don't have any trouble with scratching at all, and the crosscut sled just works so much easier. It was just a phenomenal difference with that. My big concern originally waxing it was that I would get wax in the material I was cutting, but that hasn't been an issue. I've had no trouble finishing anything afterwards. It's not been there's not been any wax in the finished surface, so, or the cut material. And that's it. It makes a huge difference in how everything functions. The miter slide, which I never used this one, but the miter slide functions so easy. And the crosscut sled, just works like nothing. It just works great. So waxing makes all the difference in the world to how smooth your stuff works. So a few months ago I did a video about an auxiliary fence on my Dewalt table saw, and I promised I'd show you how to use some accessories for it, or some of the accessories I was going to get for it. So the setup is really simple. It's just the PowerTech extrusion. This one, I think it's 36 long, and it's the 3-inch tall. And I'm using Wen track saw clamps. I'm sure other track saw clamps will work just fine, but I know this one works in the track very well. And I showed you on the video, when you're making, these clamps need to be adjusted a little bit. We just need to shave off the bottom corners of the mounting plate, and then it'll slide right in the tracks. And it's going to clamp to the back of the fence. But before you do, I've also made some infeed and outfeed supports. So I want to get them on first to make sure I've got my auxiliary fence set where I need it. Let's see. Okay, those will both fit fine. Okay, so we'll snug that up. And this auxiliary fence is really nice. It's very solid aluminum. It's arrow straight. There's lots of tracks for whatever accessories you want to use. So I get my material supports tightened up. Okay, make sure it's good and snug. And one of the accessories I've got is these infeed rollers, and these are directional. So the roller goes in one direction only, and that's because, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, the roller is canted to the fence. So as your material goes through, it draws the material to the fence. So it's important that it's directional. If the roller comes backwards, your material is going to come away from the fence. If for some reason you back up your material, it's going to draw it away from the fence, and it's going to bind in your saw, in your blade. So the direction is critical. They also make some of these with springs. So the rollers are spring loaded on your material, and I haven't used them, but I have to question if that's a good idea, just because, I mean, the main purpose of it is to secure your material to the table, and if it's spring loaded, to me it gives the option or the ability for your material to leave the saw table, but I haven't used them, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to cut some 1/2-inch material, so I'll grab a little piece. And just simply adjust your height with a scrap piece of material. And I like to put a good bit of pressure on it, doesn't need to be a lot. Okay, you want to make sure your fence is clamped nice and tight, because that's what gives you your hold down pressure. Okay, and you can see as you feed, try and swing you over here a little bit. Can you see that? I hope you can. As you feed, the rollers draw your material to the fence. And they also help support you all the way through the blade. So that hands free, and my material is supported out there, partly because of the material support, but also because of the pressure of the feeder. Let's see. Bring that in a little bit. A little bit of that material slides around the It makes handling some materials so much easier. Now obviously you can't put too much weight out here, but it's clearly going to help support whatever you do, even just going to an outfeed roller. So this is a huge help. Now the other thing, you can also use conventional featherboard with this auxiliary fence, but I'm not as much a fan of this, just mainly because of the bulk, and there's nothing on the back side of the blade keeping your material to the fence. Now maybe you could add an outfeed roller over here, mix the rollers or the featherboard with a roller. I'm not sure. But with a conventional featherboard, you've got a fair bit of bulk in here that you're trying to work around. Plus you need to control the outfeed side of your material, which is really tough. You're reaching into the blade. It's really awkward. You can't put this featherboard over here. You could probably move this one down a little bit. But it's a lot more awkward than using the rollers. And then you've also got no material support once you get through the featherboard. And another accessory you can add, I don't know if you remember the video Framing the World. If you've seen that video of mine, I needed to make stop cuts. So you can add a stop. Well, YouTube, I hope this video kind of helps get the brain juices flowing and maybe get some ideas moving around in your head that'll help in your shop. If you're interested in any of the stuff that I've been using, I'll make sure there's links down in the description to help you find things. I guess that's it for now. You guys have a great day.